This is not the first time Iran's been bombed by a foreign country with US backing. I'm talking about the Iran-Iraq War. From 1980 to 1988, neighboring states Iran and Iraq were embroiled in a horrific conflict that's been called one of the longest and bloodiest wars of the 20th century. Over 1 million people were killed, though estimates vary. And in that war, the US was providing military assistance to Iraq, similar to how it's backing Israel today. Let's rewind. In the 1970s, Iran and Iraq had tense relations, due in part to territorial disputes. But when chaos and disarray engulfed Iran following its 1979 Islamic Revolution, Iraqi leader Saddam Hussein was emboldened to make a move. So in September 1980, he launched an invasion of southern Iran. Eventually, the Iranians repelled the Iraqis, and it was done with the help of a group known as the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. They were a state-backed militia created to protect Iran's nascent revolution. And their instrumental role in that war would lead them to become a huge force in Iranian politics years later. In fact, today, they're the same group that's been launching the missiles at Israel, and whose leadership has also been targeted by Israel. Anyway, in 1979, Iran was pretty isolated after its revolution. It was a broad-based rebellion that overthrew the US-backed Shah. But groups led by Ayatollah Khomeini took control and declared an Islamic Republic. In what was known as the hostage crisis, Khomeini's supporters took US diplomats hostage to demand that the US extradite the ousted Shah to Iran. In response, the US imposed sanctions and an arms embargo against Iran, meaning the country had limited weaponry to fight with. Few other countries, except for maybe Syria and Libya, actually helped Iran fend for itself, as its neighbor, Iraq, launched a war against it. But Iraqi President Saddam Hussein had quite a bit of backing from the Europeans and the Americans. In fact, the US government under President Reagan was providing intelligence and arms to the Iraqi government. What's more, declassified documents revealed years later show that Iraq was using chemical weapons against the Iranians with the knowledge and support of the US government. You see, the Iran-Iraq war had become a war of attrition, with one side making gains only for the other to push it back. So eventually, Saddam decided to up the ante and deploy chemical weapons. Today, many Iranians still live with the effects of the mustard gas and the highly toxic nerve agents that Iraq's army, under Saddam's leadership, deployed with wanton abandon. But there's an even uglier twist to this war. In what became known as the Iran-Contra affair, the US government was revealed to be secretly selling weapons to the Iranians as well. The US was eventually arming both sides of this conflict, exacerbating and prolonging an already vicious war. The war finally ended in 1988, but the Iran-Iraq war left an indelible impact on Iran and its leaders. Iran was isolated. Almost no one had come to its aid, and its repeated efforts to raise the alarm on Saddam's use of chemical weapons fell on deaf ears. That experience, with chemical weapons deployed on a mass scale against its people, is said to have caused Iran's leaders to look into nuclear weapons as a way to deter further attacks against their country. But those efforts are widely believed to have been abandoned in 2003. Today, most intelligence estimates, as well as the International Atomic Energy Agency, say Iran is not developing a nuclear bomb.